Hello, hello. Welcome to another live stream. If you're here with me live or on the replay, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So, what I wanted to share that's coming through pretty clearly, obviously, if you're resonating with this video, you probably already know this, but I just wanted to clarify this because Spirit's coming through really clear with this message. And when I say Spirit, what I really refer to as Spirit is the source of all that is, the divine creator that you are one with, that you are not separate from. Life is a mirror, and life reflects back what you are emanating. You are a divine creator. You are one with the creator. When you are in your creative abilities, in your divine creative flow, you are really at a high frequency. And the message that's coming through right now is expect instant manifestations as we're moving into 2025. The veil between the material and spiritual realm is thinning. And if you are on this ascension timeline resonating with this particular video, then you are a leader of this new earth. You are maybe identifying as a starseed or a light worker or a of some kind. And you are here to lead through your divine feminine essence, your creative energy, right? So this is like full on Empress energy, being able to create and manifest very quickly and call through your own magnetism what it is that you truly desire, which at this stage of the game, if you're resonating with this, your desires, your egoic desires no longer take no longer take precedence. um, the divine is orchestrating all things, and you know this. You are one with this. You are the synchronicity. You are the signs. You are the portal. You are the way. You are the one that this is. You are one with. So as this union within is embodied, as you are embodying your divinity, you're going to move into, right now, the energies and the frequencies are just super, super potent. And you're going to experience instant manifestations of whatever you're focused on with your awareness. And so the messages that have been coming through very clearly is to stay positive on and focused on what it is that you actually desire to create in your reality, because you get to create. You are a divine creator. And I don't want to make this video per se about manifestation, although this is what's coming up, so I'll just share it. A lot of people on this path will get stuck in manifestation because they're trying to manifest outside something that they feel they need, and they're coming from a place of lack or scarcity or fear, or feeling that they need something in their life in order to be more abundant or more supported or more loved. And this isn't to discount that there's not things in physical reality that one would desire or one would have a preference for. This is not arguing that. But what is coming up is that you are on an ascension timeline. And when you're able to come into the realization that you are one with that which you wish to attract into your life, whether that be love, whether that be abundance, whether that be alignment with your purpose and things like that, you are one with that, and all the cooperative components are already there to support you. Right now, you're going to be manifesting very quickly, regardless of what you're focused on. So Spirit made this very clear to me just even right before this video, which is always like when I start to open up and receive, like, what's the message that wants to come through today for the collective. I was instantly put in a situation of an instant manifestation. I was sitting in my a little like armchair with, having my morning coffee. And I had the thought, God, it would be nice to get a rug. I was just looking at the rug and I felt like I needed a new rug or a different color scheme or something like that. And then I had the thought, like, God, it would suck if I just spilled this coffee on it. Like, randomly had that thought. I don't know why I had that thought. Um, and then I was just thinking about whether or not I should get a new rug. And I was in my mind about getting a new rug or not. Truly, the desire was to have a new rug. But I was like back and forth, like, do I need a new rug? Do I really want a new rug? Blah, blah, blah. And literally, I have this like really potent dark coffee. It's like half chocolate, half coffee. It's like super amazing. It's delicious. It's my bulletproof coffee morning like ritual and routine. And it just spilled all over the rug. And before you know it, I had to select a new rug, which was the desire that was on my heart anyways, was I would like a new rug. And thinking about potentially spilling coffee on it was completely random. And literally within like 20, like a minute or two, like that's exactly what happened. It might have been just a few minutes longer than that. Like, I don't really know how much time passed. It wasn't a lot. And it was just like, okay, I get it. This has been happening a lot, and it's going to continue to happen moving into 2025 and beyond. If you're on this ascension timeline right now, there's a lot of light coming in. There's a lot of codes within you that are being activated. The realm between the physical and the material world are going to be thinning, and you're going to be able to move into instant manifestation to create the life that you truly desire. And so the challenge for many is going to be coming into alignment and authentic alignment with what it is that you truly desire to create for your life. Your life. So really, the missing piece of this, as you move into being the true magician that you are, is realizing that you are the creator, the divine creator expressing through you. So when I say you create for your life, I don't mean that you're this separate self trying to create something in your life that you feel you need to add on to yourself in order to feel whole and complete. I'm speaking to the true you as a divine creator that came here embodied in this 3D reality for a specific purpose at this place in time on human history in this timeline in order to serve the collective at the highest level through your authentic expression and create a life that is in alignment with your truth. When I say your truth, I mean the truth of who you are, the truth of who you are at your core, which is a sovereign, free soul, a divine creator, a spark of creation, a child of God, here expressing in human form. You are walking, talking divinity in human form. So when I say creating, what you want to manifest for your life, the key missing piece to this, which is what takes it beyond just boring manifestation, is that it's time to fully embody the divinity that you are. You are the walking, talking manifestation. You are one with it. You are the synchronicity. You are the sign. You are all the things, which is why you're always in the right place at the right time, which is why it's always divine timing, which is why you're always seeing the right synchronicities right when you need them, because you are one with it. You're not separated from the 3D reality that you perceive outside of yourself. You are one with all things. And as you embody this knowingness, not conceptual understanding of this, but true knowing of this, and you start to navigate this 3D game that we're playing as a soul that's incarnated here as a human self playing the earth game, you get to move through this reality. It's very fluid. It's very in the flow. It's very, everything's moving. Like the carpet is like rolled out under your feet as you walk it. It's like life is continuously supporting you before you even know that you need to be supported. Resources and supply is showing up for you. Magical things, what appears to be magic, is popping into your experience. And I love the word magic. It ties directly to, but it'll feel like a miracle. And that's what it is, a living, walking, talking miracle. And everything around you is a miracle. That's one perception of it, right? Like Einstein said it best. He said, you can one of the most important decisions you can make is whether or not, you see everything as a miracle or nothing as a miracle. I don't know exactly if that's what he said, like word for word. I know I'm butchering it, but that's the essence of it. You are moving into being miracle minded. Like everything is a miracle. Everything is happening around you, through you, for you, as you express in this 3D reality that is beyond what the mind can understand, beyond what science can understand, beyond what anybody can understand. Like you are a walking, talking, living, breathing spark of divinity. Like think about that. Like even the fact that you're living here breathing right now is like mind boggling. Like how, you know what I mean? Like when you fully begin to embody this, you're going to start to see, you're going to harness the ability to be able to take your power back as the divine creator that you are. So you're no longer going to be creating by lazy awareness. You're going to be present moment awareness, in the moment, in the now, being the divine embodied version, human that you are, right? Like, and as you be that, because it's not something that you can think about, it's not something that you can conceptually understand, as you just be it through the present moment, which is the gateway here, right? The present moment here in the now, which means you're going to be challenged to no longer get stuck in the past or the future, or trying to like project what's going to happen and all the things. You're going to just be here now in the presence that you are, in the essence that you are, and harness your divine feminine creative power, creative flow. And that's going to guide you to whatever that you're guided to, whatever wants to be created through you. And life is going to mirror back this frequency that you're emanating and where your focus is. And so if your focus is lazy, you can expect random things popping up because of your focus just being lazy, right? Like you are one with all. And so the world is just going to reflect it back. So when you can get really when you can stay focused and paying attention, which is really just harnessing your creative consciousness, your divine creative flow, and harnessing that, you're going to be able to create the reality that you actually desire. And you're just going to, you're going to see sloppy manifestations popping up into your experience, and you're going to be able to catch the mind in action where it's like, oh, wait, that is a fear-based thought. That is a thought based in lack. That is a thought based in scarcity. That is a thought, you're going to recognize it, and you're not going to get hooked by it anymore. And you're not going to go down the rabbit hole of it anymore, because you're going to see very, very quickly that by doing that, you're going to create things in your reality that are unfavorable, right? Like, it's all serving you regardless, right? Like no matter what happens, everything's serving you. So there is no wrong here. Like for example, the rug scenario, like I desired a rug. So I got a rug, but I had to spill coffee all over the place to make a huge mess in order to get the rug, instead of just following the desire to get the rug, right? And like realizing that it's just going to reflect back that fast, that quickly. My laptop's about to die. So the message coming through here is you are the mother effing magician. You are the wizard here. You get to play. Play is a big word coming up. You get to play. You get to have fun, but you got to stay diligent in your discernment of what you're willing to allow into your creative field, right? Like, your creative field, like where your focus is your creative field. And the more you bring your moment into the present, your presence, your moment, your presence. The more you bring your focus into the present moment, the more you get to flow from your divine creative power, which is going to give you little hits of inspiration, hits of, guidance, action steps, the next right action that's going to be a breadcrumb. It's not going to be the end all solution. It's going to be a hit. It's going to be a breadcrumb. Your only job is to follow the hit and follow the breadcrumb. And how do you know you're following? It's going to feel like fun, right? So you're not in your mind trying to figure it out. You're in your heart feeling it out, and it's going to feel fun. It's going to feel like play. It's not going to feel like efforting. It's not going to feel like struggling. It's not going to feel like strife. It's not going to feel like pain or anything like that. It's going to feel like flow. It's going to feel like ease. It's not going to be heavy. It's going to feel light. And you're asked to follow that. You're asked to follow that breadcrumb wherever it leads in the present moment, without trying to figure it out, without jumping up into the mind, which the mind is going to try to hook you to do, take you back into this dualistic realm and try to, get you hooked into a storyline or narrative about something. So how do you get back and anchored into your presence? Your awareness is key. Conscious awareness is the first step. Second, you always can come back to your breath as soon as you realize that you've been hooked by the narrative and you're back in your mind living from this conceptual reality instead of being present in the now, experiencing life as it comes with a very intimate experience with life. Remember, we jump up. If you've been watching some of these videos, we go up into the mind oftentimes to feel safe and protected and try to figure everything out and label everything, because then we can feel like we can make our way through the world and be more safe. But in actuality, that's because this is separation consciousness when we're bouncing back and forth between, in this dualistic mind, right? You're not separate. You are one with, but that is accessed through the heart space, which AKA is the gateway, and can be accessed through the present moment. So awareness is key. You're going to catch yourself, and then you can bring yourself back to your breath, which brings you into the present moment. And the other thing I like to share, if you've been following me for a while, is you can begin to practice dropping the language, dropping the words as you experience your day-to-day activities. So you can, for example, go to the grocery store and just go without labeling everything that you see, without trying to have a story or a narrative about everything that you see. You can go for a walk. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to be in nature and experience the hummingbird or the flower. And when you're in it, you can't even explain it. You can't describe it. You're just present with it. That's your presence. That's your divine presence. It's very, very simple. It's so simple, it gets overlooked. You can be searching for it for the rest of your life, but it's right here. It's right here. You can only be it as it. And this eventually wakes down, I like to say, into the heart space to where you begin to feel it. First, it may feel like it's just an awareness thing, but then it'll wake down into the heart center and become like a one, like heart-based love with all things. So that's as the heart opens more. But this awareness is right here, right now, looking through your eyes. It's how you know you are here right now. If I asked you, are you present? You say, yes, I'm present. How do you know you're present? You probably say, I'm here. There's a sense of here-ness. Listen with the mind, listen with the heart, or you can even close your eyes if you want to. There's a sense of here-ness. There is a sense of now-ness, a here-ness and a now-ness that is looking through your eyes, that is kind of like rested back and down, not in the head, right? You're not in the mental body. There's a here-ness and a now-ness. And in this here-ness and now-ness, there is no future. There's only future if you jump to the mind. There's no past. There's only a past if you jump into the mind, right? You're just here. You're the here-ness. You're the now-ness. You're the spaciousness that's in the here-ness and the now-ness that is boundless. And when you're able to move through your day-to-day experience as the here-ness, as the now-ness, guess what else isn't there? The you that you think yourself to be, the small separate you, the identity that you created. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is what it is. It's a separate sense of self that falls away or is seen as it never was. You've always been here. This is the awakening. This is the realization of your true self and your true nature. It's like a toggle switch. It's like you can toggle between resting as the presence that you are and moving through your life experience this way. And when I say you, this is because I'm trying to use language to point to something that can't be pointed to. So I'm just going to share however it comes out. I'm not going to get stuck on words. There's like a toggle switch, it appears, that there's conscious choice of whether you want to rest back and be the awareness and live life as the presence that you are, where there is no trouble, there is no worries, there is no anxiety, there is no suffering. There's just the you-ness and the now-ness in the present moment. And you can move through your experience like this. And it's very spacious. It's very freeing I don't know how to describe this. It's just spacious and freeing. And then the other part of that toggle switch is when you can get hooked. It feels like you're getting hooked and pulled back into the separate sense of self, where now you are operating from this individuated identity as if the identity is you. There's nothing wrong with the humanness that we came here to experience and play. But when you are living from it as if it is your identity, that's when the suffering can come in, will come in. That's when you'll be looping. That's when you'll constantly be seeking outside of yourself for validation or approval or love or support and all the things. And that's when you'll be trying to, quote unquote, manifest by trying to get something out there to come into your experience so you can have it, so you can cling to it, so you can add on to your experience and things like that. And that is just the little separate sense of self, the little egoic self, just trying to get more, be more, do more, have more, accumulate more, so it can feel safe, lovable, and good enough in some way, or validated. Okay, so at any moment you can, with awareness, like this is why practicing being present and focusing on your breath and being able to live from presence, it's like a muscle that it just gets easier and easier to do this. If you stay stuck in the narrative, it's a very addictive pattern, right? Like most people are addicted in this cycle where that's all they do is live from the mind in the conceptual reality, bouncing back and forth between memory and past and future and all the things. And they never actually experience being the co-creator that they are, creating from divine presence, the magician that you are, the co-creator, the divine essence that flows to you, through you, and as you, that you are not separate from. That's a totally different type of manifestation, because now you are one with the manifestation. There's no fear, there's no suffering, there's no lack, there's no scarcity. There's just beingness with all that is. And it sounds to the ego, as I share this, if you're listening with your egoic mind, it sounds like, well, then what? The ego mind's going to be going, well, then what? And that's the hook then back in. And that's when you hear, oh, surrender, allow yourself to just be, right? The ego is like, well, then what? What's next? This is boring. We got to go do something, right? Like, it's very paradoxical, because as you come into presence and you anchor into the truth of who you truly are, you become one with all the manifest. You are in union with all that is, and what is meant for you and what is part of your true soul core desires effortlessly flow into your experience, and you will experience instant manifestations very, very quickly because you're already one with it. You're not having any resistance to anything, which is why, circling back, it's very important when you're in this phase of moving into like instant manifestation and unity consciousness and being one with the divine presence and essence that you are. Sloppy thinking, sloppy awareness is going to produce sloppy results in your external reality, and you're going to see it very, very fast. Back to the coffee story that I shared earlier, it's going to happen very, very fast, and you're not going to be able to make the fact that you are a conscious creator and that you're here creating your reality. The question is what are you going to give your devotion to in this process? Are you going to be devoted to trying to create your reality from the egoic will, trying to get things outside of yourself and accumulate more so you can then just be on this hamster wheel of constantly needing, because it's an endless hamster wheel. The ego always needs and wants more. Or do you want to be anchored in your divine presence and allow everything that is meant for you to effortlessly flow to you, which is going to require trust, faith, and surrender? Trust, faith, and surrender. There's nothing to control. There's nothing to do. There's just being. And from this being, divine creation will flow, divine creative energy will flow, because you are all of it, right? Expansion is the name of the game. So you will receive your next inspired action. The divine loves to create through you. You are it. You are one with it. Like, obviously, you can look out, like, variety, creation, like, it's all around you. You are one with that. You are created by the same substance that creates all things, right? Like, you are not separate in any way from all of this. But the ego will latch on and think it needs to control the process in order to get X, Y, or Z. And that's the trip. That's where you'll get hooked. And that's the part that is really frustrating if you are stuck in egoic kind of like when you're in this no man's land where the egoic will is fading, the personal desires are fading, you're surrendering even your own livelihood and safety to the divine orchestration. Like, you're surrendering it all, but yet you haven't fully moved into like fully trusting and knowing and surrendering and fully giving the steering wheel over to the divine. It's like a war, right? And so I refer to this as being in between worlds, but we're tipping into like, this is go time. Like, you're moving in, like, it's time. It's time for you to just be it. It's time for you to own it. It's time for you to be the conscious creator that you are, through fully living and embodying your divinity and knowing that you are not separate from all that is. And manifestation becomes almost like a thing of the past. You don't even like try to manifest certain things. That's kind of like boring at this point, right? Like, it's kind of like you've been there, done that. Like, you've done that for years. Like, you've already like been able to now it's just kind of like you're living in a sea of energy that's just consistently like co-creating with you, and all you have to do is be you, have fun, and trust the process and live from presence instead of the mental body. And I know that sounds annoying and it sounds easier said than done, because in a way it is, and in a way it's not. So it's very paradoxical. If you're addicted to the mental story, it's going to feel very frustrating. But in actuality, it's the simplest thing you've ever done, because your presence is here right now. Your awareness is here right now. There is no future. There is no past. When you are the here-ness and you are the now-ness, there is only the essence of that which you are, which is the pure consciousness, that you get to then focus like a laser beam through divine intention on what it is that you want to create in your life. And if it's not serving your highest and greatest good and the highest and good of all, because you are aligned with divine will, then it's out. Like, you don't even need to focus on it anymore. And you already know and trust that you're divinely guided and supported. So you don't even feel the need to go out and try to manifest external things to come into your reality. And in fact, the more you try to do that, the more frustrated you will be, because the old manifestation from lack and from scarcity and from feeling separate from that which you are is no longer going to work for you. It's kind of like you've evolved past, how do I want to word this? You've evolved past the need to chase. You've evolved past the need to chase in order to create the reality that you desire. And that can only happen as you anchor yourself in the truth of who you are, which means at first there's going to feel like a battle between a head and a heart as the ego continues to dismantle and you fully trust the divine essence that you are and surrender to the divine orchestration. But as you do that, things begin to happen that pop into your experience, and you begin, oh, like, this is so, you don't feel like you need to manifest anymore. Like, that's like old news, and you're not trying to go out and get things to secure the love that you think you need, or the abundance or the safety or the security or any of those things, because you already know that you're supported. You can't not be supported. You can't not be supported. It's law. Like, you are life itself. Like, you can't not be supported. But what you can do is you can get into the story or narrative that you are not supported, or that you are not loved, or that you are not abundant. And then you can live from that sense of separateness that needs to be out there getting all the things and acquiring all the things. And then you will create that reality for yourself. So it's very paradoxical, and it's very annoying depending on where you're at in this process of ascension. And I know everybody that tunes in here is at different phases, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word. So, take what resonates. But if you're on the ascension timeline and you're resonating with this particular video, which is for New Earth leaders, that you're here to lead, but you can't do that from the separate sense of self. You can't do that from AKA fear-based consciousness, separate sense of self. You can only do that through embodying your divinity, which is here now. You are the here-ness, you are the now-ness. And when you are here right now, I know I'm being repetitive, but I'm being repetitive for a reason. Whatever reason that is, this is what's coming through. There is no next moment. This is key. There is no next moment. So a practice, if I could give you a practice to help point to this, is bring yourself into the present and drop the next moment. Like, there is no next. Just, there is no next. There is no past. There's right here, right now. And if you're here with me and you're still with me right now at this time, you've made it this far into this video, you're here right now in the present moment, the awareness that's looking through your eyes. No next moment, no past, no future. You're just here. You are the nowness. Is there a problem? Is there something you need to do? Only when you jump back into the mind. What would it be like if you just allowed yourself to stay present for a day? And go test this theory for yourself. It's not a theory, but for lack of a better word, just be present. You can get all your worries back. You can get all your anxieties back. You can get all your thoughts back. You can get all your, yeah, but what about this back? You can get all of that back later. But just for the next 5 minutes, even, just be present. Just observe. Drop language. Drop the need to label everything. And just be present. And as you look around and scan the environment with the awareness that's coming through your eyes, what is there? Who is there? What is there? If you truly live from presence throughout your day, you won't be able to explain what you even did throughout the day, because none of it, you don't need to just, you know what I mean? It's like, I can't describe this. It's impossible. You, when you're just living from presence, there's nothing to explain. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to judge. There's just beingness. And this doesn't mean that you have to go sit on a mountaintop for the next who knows how long, just sitting and being and not doing anything, because that won't happen. Because the divine loves to create through you. You are the divine. You are one with the divine. And expansion, again, is the name of the game. But it's about, can we get out of the mental body, the mental looping, the suffering, the storyline, the narrative that keeps you seeking outside of yourself over and over and over again, like a little hamster in a wheel, trying to accumulate more shit that you think that you need. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you will attract abundance, you will attract prosperity, you will attract love, you will attract all of those things into your experience. But it's paradoxical, because it's when you don't need it and you become one with it, then it makes its way into your experience very effortlessly. And like that, back to the instant manifestation, because there's no more resistance to it, because you are one with it. Law of one, which I mentioned in a previous video. I'm not sure which one though. But the law of one, you are one with all of it. There has to be a level of devotion, is the best word that I can use right now. Devotion to fear or love. Like I always say, you are a walking, talking, living, breathing example of what is possible when you choose love over fear. This isn't going to look like the rest of society's timelines. You are a trailblazer of a new paradigm. There is no path before you. You're leading it, and it doesn't look like anybody else's path. So stop comparing yourself to anybody else and what they're doing in their life. And comparing yourself in that way. That happens a lot, especially around, like, as the ego dismantles and your personal will and desires kind of fall away, and you're being activated on a heart level and going through a purging and purification process, and surrendering to divine will, and like all of this is happening as you're moving into the heart space, which is like a waking down. It's like this presence and awareness that you're now embodying begins to like permeate your being, and this is what's happening to so many on this timeline right now, where it's permeating our being. We're able to bring in more light, more higher frequency, and the denser energies have been purged. This may have been months or years prior to this, purging denser energies, and now it's time to embody it. You've purified, you've purged, you've alchemized, and now it's time to embody it. And the collective, the frequency right now is very conducive to supporting this now, for embodying these higher frequencies. There's, for lack of a better word, activations, attunements, downloads. You may be experiencing this in your own way. I know I am over here, and it's opening up, like, it's just opening up so much. Even the body is acclimating to higher frequencies all the time. And so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's a whole nother video. I don't want to get too far off track, but I hope this resonates. The main thing that's coming through is the shift into the heart, and realizing when you're hooked in the narrative that is keeping you from creating from your feminine flow, your divine essence, not gender specific. This is where your power lies, to co-create the reality that you want, and you're going to be shown very quickly instant manifestations that are reflecting back to you where you are being lazy with your awareness or your thoughts, and that's serving you as well. But this is where we're moving into as a collective into 2025. You are the alchemist, you are the magician, you are the empress. You're embodying all of this now, and it's time to just fully embody it. It's time to own it. This is how you lead New Earth. You cannot lead New Earth from fear-based consciousness, from separation consciousness. And the only thing that will truly anchor you in this so you can live from it is direct experience, not conceptual understanding. So I know I heard on a previous video, someone mentioned in the comments that they understand this, but they're not living it. And so maybe we can share on this just for a second. That can be a hook of the way that ego is to really understand it on a conceptual level. One of my mentors explained this as like a bubble, and it's like a bubble that cannot be popped from the outside. So no one's going to be able to do this from the outside. It's only like from within. When you realize the divine presence and essence that you are, like the bubble, you realize there was no, like, you're no longer stuck in that bubble of conceptual understanding. You're just free. You are one with it. But until then, the conceptual understanding of it can feel like you get it, but you're not being it. You're not living it. I understand all this, but I understand it, but it's not my experience. I understand it, but it's not my experience. So some of the direct exercises to bring this as a direct experience, we'll just recap really quick here. I love this one, which I haven't mentioned yet in a while, is listening to the silence in between words, in between the cars passing, listening to the silence, or being aware of the spaciousness. So think about it. Like, this is always it's always backwards of what you think. But when you walk out into the world, right, like, you can see buildings and trees and all the things, and your focus automatically goes to the manifested form. And it kind of like just ignores all of the spaciousness, which is not empty. It's like empty and full simultaneously. It appears empty, but it's not empty. Or your awareness will go to the sounds and kind of dismiss the spaciousness and the silence between the sounds, or the words that you're hearing, or the bird chirping, or the airplane going over your house, or whatever it is. So one practice that really was great in my experience was being able to like go for a walk, whether it's in nature or just walking the dogs or whatever, and be aware of the spaciousness, be aware of the silence between the sounds that you hear, that's arising and dissolving within the silence, right? When you hear something, it arises and then it dissolves within the silence. Just become aware of that. And then, of course, the other one that I like to share is drop in the labels and being able to observe your reality as you go day-to-day experience without needing to claim it, talk about it, reference it, acknowledge it verbally or with words or in your mind silently. You're just present with it. And then you'll begin to see, as soon as the mind starts to jump up and tell a story about it or tell a narrative about it. And there's nothing wrong with stories or narratives. There's nothing wrong with anything, really. This is just a practice to help fine tune your ability to be in the present moment, living from the awareness and the divine presence that you are. And then the third practice is, as soon as you realize that you've jumped up into the mind and the mind hooked you into a story or a narrative, is to bring your focused awareness back to your breath. This will automatically bring you back into the present moment. There's a few more practices I can share, but I'll just save that for a different video. If you like these kind of things and you want to learn more about some of these different practices that you can do to bring yourself into the present moment and directly experience your true nature and your divine nature, which is what gets you out of the bubble of conceptual understanding. It's only this. You are the way. You are the door. You are the key that gets you out of that. You are right here, right now, the nowness and the here-ness of this very moment, which now is just like this ever eternal expansion. It's not even like here's now and then there's now and then there's a now and then there's now. It's not like one now and then the next now and then the next now and then the next now. It's not like you can chop up now into a bunch of nows. It's just now. If you're with me and you're listening with your heart and not your mind, this may be resonating. It's just now. Eternal now. Timeless now. It's just now. There's no next. It's boundless. It's endless. There's just nowness. There's just nowness. And in this nowness, there are things expressing in this nowness, and the nowness encompasses all of it. The nowness, the eternalness of it, the timelessness of all that is this nowness and here-ness allows everything to rise within it, including you. And that's key. You are within the you that you think you are is arising within the true you, the nowness and the here-ness, the consciousness that is you. Everything arises within it. Now you are not separate. You are not separate when you are living as your true self. You are one with everything, expressing within this unknowable mystery. And so is everything else and everyone else. And you are one with all of them because there's no separation. You're an expression of the divinity. You are expression of all of it through your unique individuated expression, which is then paradoxical, right? Because you're one with all of it. You're one with all of it and you exist within it. This is what they mean when you hear the entire universe exists within you. Because this is the you that they're talking about, the you-ness, the nowness, the here-ness, and everything exists within you, including the you that you think that you are, which is not your true identity. What that is an expression of divinity. You are an expression of the divinity. Just like the birds and the flowers and the trees, you are an expression of this divinity. And so it sounds paradoxical. This is about oneness, not about sameness. Because as you can tell, life loves to express in a variety of ways. Variety is the spice of life, they say, right? So this isn't identicalness. You have an individuated, unique, divine expression, an authentic expression that God calls you towards. And when I say God, I mean the ultimate creator that you are one with, that wishes and wants and desires to be created through you. And those are just words. So don't get hung up on words. I don't need non-duality police in my comments. You are the divine individuated expression being, that has an individual expression that is unique to your divine expression, while simultaneously you are one. This individuated expression is very much like masculine, you could call it, principle, where the essence of that which you are would be the feminine principle. You are union. You are one. Those two do not separate. You are one with. You are the essence of all things, and you are the individuated expression simultaneously. And the two become one because they were never separate to begin with. They were never separate to begin with. Separation is the illusion. This is the divine union that you're seeking. And when you come into divine union, and again, this is language which is already flawed because it's part of duality. There's no coming into divine union, right? If you're with me, you can sense this. There's no coming into divine union. You're with me right now. I can tell if you're still here. You already are it. There, it never was separate. You've always been it. You've always been all of it. And you're the individuated expression, the divine expression that only wants to be you authentically, whatever that means to you. And however the divine wants to create through you, and as you express. Yeah, it's a mystery. It is what it is. Don't try to figure it out, because it's the mind that's trying to figure it out. That's what keeps you looping in the back and forth separation, consciousness, and duality, is trying to figure it out. This is not figure outable. This is not figure outable. There's a knowingness, there's an intuitive sensing of this, there's a feeling essence of this, but it's not logical that the mind is going to be able to wrap its mind around. You were never separate. You've always been union. You've always been one with all. This isn't even a coming together. When we talk about coming into union, that language is kind of flawed, because that would imply that you're separate and can come into union, and you cannot. But you can pretend that you are separate for as long as you want, and then you can live that separate sense of self experience, which is going to be suffering, being on the hamster wheel and creating and trying to manifest from lack, scarcity, or fear, from a void within, because you feel as if you're the separate sense of self in the world, when in actuality you are all of it, having this divine individuated expression that is not separate from anything and is one with all things and the creator that you are. So it's like backwards. It's like backwards, right? We walk into the world and we see physical manifestations, and our attention goes there, or our attentions go to the sound. Reverse it. Do a 180. Do a 180 and you'll be closer to the truth of who you are. Listen to the silence. Observe and feel the spaciousness. Right? Like everything is flipped. Everything is like a 180. Right? We think that we're the separate self having this experience, and we are having this separate experience, and everything is outside of us. Flip it. That's not the truth of reality. It's the exact opposite. It's a 180. This is you, and everything is existing within you. It's a complete reversal. It's a complete reversal. And is this resonating? I hope it's resonating for whoever is meant to hear this. I need to have there. Yes, what's here is it. It's it. Yeah. Devotion is the best word that I can leave you with. It's a devotion, because you cannot serve two masters on this journey. You cannot serve the egoic mind and fear-based consciousness and separateness simultaneously, while serving the heart and the truth of who you are. And so on the journey, there is a devotion. In yoga, this is called like bhakti yoga. There's a devotion that's required. There's a discipline in this, right? Like there's a discipline. There's a discipline and devotion to this. There's a discipline and devotion that gets stronger and stronger, because the ultimate desire is to know your true self above all desires. That sounds like a good title for something. Devotion, discipline, desire. Maybe I'll do a workshop on devotion, discipline, desire. Drop a comment if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, and learning more in a more intimate setting about some of these ways to point to the direct experience that you are, to have more direct experience. And maybe I can host something like that in a more intimate container, like a Zoom or something like that. So I hope this finds you well. I could talk about this kind of stuff forever, and I usually do. Sometimes there's a few family members that I can talk to about this kind of stuff. Maybe like one family member, actually, if I'm being honest, where I can speak freely about this kind of stuff. And so I love sharing this with you guys here on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this. This is really like the soul family. Like in we're attracted by frequency, we're attracted by love. I am a reflection of you. You are not separate from me. This is a two-way exchange. I'm getting full body chills right now, and it's just so fun to attempt to talk about this unknowable mystery that we can't talk about. It's beyond knowing. It's beyond understanding, knowing from the conceptual level, into in inner standing, inner knowing. But that's the kind of inner standing and inner knowing that does not seek external validation. It just is. It just is. This is like when they talk about returning to the innocence, returning like a child. You know, there's a lot of references of this in the Bible as well. A child doesn't know, like there's no like conceptual understanding, right? You really are just like the innocence of a child without needing to try to figure everything out. There's a freedom there, and the child loves to play, and the child loves to express, and the child is the dreamer within, and the child is the one that has limitless possibilities. That child archetype that lives within us, that gets unleashed in this process as well, because there's no more judgment from your own mental body or caring about what others think, that you just can then play and express the way you're being called to play and express. And it's very fun, and it's very in the flow, and it's very like limitless possibilities. You're playing with the infinite substance. Substance is a word, but it's not truly what it is, but infinite substance that permeates all things. So there's endless possibilities that you can play with, and it just becomes fun. Like you become the artist of your life, you become the magician, you know, of your life, and you're painting your life with your consciousness, with your focused awareness, co-creating with the divine that flows to you and through you and as you. Trying to manifest as a separate sense of self, that's like kindergarten stage manifestation, and it's there for a reason. You get instant manifestations when you're just starting out at that, and that's fine, but you graduate as you know more. As you know more, you kind of graduate from that, and it no longer is interesting to you, because you can see it for what it is, that it's trying to like fit things outside of yourself and like add on to you. But when you no longer identify as the you that you think you are, and you start to really have the direct experience of the expansiveness that you are, the here-ness and the now-ness, your eternal nature that you are, and that you start to really see with the eyes of your heart how you, because it's not your mental body that's going to see this, it's like see with clear vision, spiritual vision, that you are living within this spacious awareness, right? You are the spaciousness. Yeah, then you kind of lose interest in the old ways of manifesting. Plus, they don't work for you anymore, because it's like directly opposite of the law of one. But it's kind of like on this journey, you're given everything that you need at the time that you need it to take you to a true understanding of who you truly are. And there's nothing wrong with anything. Everything's perfectly divinely timed and guided, because it can't not be, because you are it. You are it. You are one with it. It can't not be. That's always the way it is. Everything is divinely guided and serving in anything. Like, this is about taking your power back, right? You're not a victim of circumstance. Everything is serving. You are co-creating your experience. And I know that might be triggering for some. That's a different video, so we don't need to dive into it, but you can't not be supported on this journey. You can just believe that you're not. You can just believe in the part that feels separate. And then you will create that. The shortcut, if there is one, shortcut kind of alludes to the fact that there's a path back to who you are, but you're here right now. So there is no shortcut. But if there were a shortcut, and I know I'm talking in paradox, but it is what it is, the shortcut would be to come back to the present moment and be the awareness that you are, and use some of maybe those practices that help point you to this that I already shared, right? And come back to this here-ness and now-ness, right here, right now. There is no next moment. There is no past. There is no future. And if you're honest and you're here right now with me, right now in the here-ness and the now-ness, as the awareness looking through your eyes, there's no problem either. And this same awareness is this presence, this eternal timelessness, and that is the now, that is here right now as your awareness, is the same awareness that has been with you since you were like, in all life stages. So when you were 5 and when you were 10, this awareness was always here as the backdrop for everything that's been playing out on the stage for you, right? Like the awareness has been the backdrop for everything, including you, the you that you think you are. The awareness has always been the backdrop. And when you're 95 years old on your deathbed, your awareness will be the same eternal, timeless, ageless awareness as when you were 5. It never changes. It never ages. It's timeless. It's eternal. It's infinite. It's spacious awareness. It's nowness. And when the body drops, when bodily death occurs, this awareness, this presence, it doesn't go anywhere. It's still, it's already, there is, it's still, this is why when you, I've listened to some near-death experiences, I always found those fascinating. And some people, when the body drops, their near-death experience, they'll come back and they'll be like, I never even knew that I was, like, it never even occurred to them that it was their body, like in the car or in like some of them don't even have like they can see the body right away. They're not the body. They're the awareness hovering over the body. I've had out of body experiences like this as well, which is just pointing to the same thing. This awareness is timeless. It's eternal, it's infinite, it's eternal. Okay. It's just the body that's having this temporary experience. The infinite, for whatever reason, decided to come here and create this temporary experience as being human. But there's timeless awareness, timeless, eternal, ageless presence that's always here. And there's some people that have near-death experiences and they, they don't even realize like nothing ever happened. It's just 1 minute, still like it was continuation. There was no drop. It was just like, boom, their body died and here, like as the awareness. And then they begin to become aware of the love and light that they are at their core, which is not separate from anything or anyone. So I think those are just fun to talk about. I could talk about stuff like that all the time. It's just fun. It's just fun to be in this life, in this mystery, in this magic, in this unknowable sea of mystery, and be able to play and express and have fun. And you can do that more freely when you are being the true you that you are, not trapped in the mind. So I think I will leave that here. I feel like that feels complete for now. I will look at all the comments as soon as I'm done with this live. I look at the comments, and until next time, I hope this finds you well. Namaste.